Why? Hello there, everyone. It's Saturday night. It's Injury Night Live. That's what's going on. I'm on RotoWire's website and I am downloading the injury report. This video is about the NFL algorithm. If you own a copy of this file and have subscribed to the NFL algorithm for the 2020 season, you might have a copy of this. Even if you didn't subscribe, maybe you got one on the black market. I don't know. You could have one. And tonight's an interesting night because I heard. I don't know why it's not funny, but it is kind of funny. The Denver Broncos apparently have no quarterback now. I think all three of them got ruled out because of COVID or potential COVID or whatever. So it's funny because they're going to have no quarterback tomorrow. I was wondering if the injury report had caught up with any of this yet, because this is going to change all kinds of stuff. So you can paste the new injury report in here. If you go to RotoWire and you grab it and then you put it in here, what you're then going to be able to do is go to the project PVT sheet. This has got all the teams and everything. Once you refresh this by right clicking inside here and then refreshing right there, things are going to change based on injury reports. Then over here, this is a slicer that shows all the different types of injuries that are out there. There's things like doubtful, there's things like questionable, and I've decided to leave in the blanks, meaning the person's not injured or isn't on the injury report, and questionable people. All these questionable people could also be on. And that should, plus the zero, um, make basically what the point projection should be. So I try refreshing one more time just in case. Then you go over to the picks sheet, and this has all our picks for week 12 showing. We're just going to refresh this, and projected scores and stuff are going to change. Let's not care about Thursday night, and let's see, well, what just happened? Boom, all of a sudden Denver lost 29-16 because they don't have any more quarterbacks. I bet you that updated. You can look by looking at Denver in the project PVT sheet, see that, boom, they do not have a quarterback. Other teams have quarterbacks. They do not. And of course, they will get somebody to fill in. It's probably going to be somebody from their practice squad. But they are missing, boom, this right here. They're missing a quarterback. Is anybody else missing a quarterback? No. Are the Giants still missing a kicker? No. That has been filled in. Apparently, Graham Gano is back. Now, let's have a let's pretend that the NFL is a soap opera for a second. Let's have a discussion about the teams and what is going on within each team, because what we should do is really go over the picks, but this would be all about gambling. And honestly, I'm not even going to bet on the games tomorrow. I'm not going to be anywhere near a betting facility in my mind, like driving like an hour and a half. I'm not doing that. Plus, you got to drive an hour and a half back if you want to cash a ticket in any. But anyway, I'm not doing that tomorrow because I got other stuff going on. And you should never make betting your life. If you do, you got a problem. And if you bet too much money and can't afford to lose, you should not be doing this either. You should be doing this with small amounts of money for fun. If you watch my videos and tracked how I've done this over the last years, but just in the last few weeks, for example, as you've gotten into the prime part of the NFL season, over the last 4 weeks, I've bet two or three of the weeks probably I've only bet, and one of the weeks I bet $60 and won $1,100. And I never bet more than like 100 or 150 bucks a week at maximum anyway. But that's just me. Everyone's got their own budget. But if I lose 100 bucks, I don't care. That's the way I look at it. Now, when so we could talk about all the betting here. I don't want to talk about it because I want to talk about something else, which will influence the betting, but I want to talk about it in a different way, and I want to show some things about the injury report and the teams because, well, let me explain why. All right. So, for example, we know that there's a COVID situation going on. Some people are on. There's a bunch of teams that have people on the COVID list. Some significant, obviously Denver. And not all these people may be sick, but they might just not be able to play. Now, I think what we should do is we should flip around this table and open up all the injury types and move them, their injury status, instead of being a filter, it's going to be under team. And what I mean by this is we're going to start going team by team, and heck, we can include everybody. Go team by team and see, well, what kind of injuries and stuff is going through the teams and how injured and stuff are they? And that will then open up like this. So for example, you can also change this. To really do some analysis here, change this to a compact form. And what that will do is we'll say, all right, Arizona, how many people are flat out healthy? The majority of their team. They do have a little COVID going on here. 2 people on them. Larry Fitzgerald got COVID. Doing too many good commercials. Dude, Larry Fitzgerald is like the nicest, most talented individual I think I've ever seen, longevity-wise, and everything. He's a good actor. Have you seen his commercials? He's funny. Like, he cannot help but succeed in everything he does. Well, he got some COVID, so I hope he's fine. That's the other thing about all this COVID, by the way, which is anyone getting seriously sick? Have we had any reports of permanent damage to lungs or anything traceable to this with these athletes that are highly active? Is there something about being highly active that helps you against the? I'd like to know. Anyway, all right. So there's a little COVID going through Arizona, and there's not much else, and they're in good shape with a lot of their players. So I would say okay with Arizona. What about Atlanta? Atlanta, let's break this in like this. And bring the kickers in, maybe like this. Makes it a little easier to read. We can also go one team at a time, but we can just open them up. So Atlanta doesn't have anybody on the COVID list. Pretty healthy, except some wide receiver is questionable with hamstring. Is that Julio Jones? Yeah, he's always questionable with his hamstring. And Hayden Hurst with his ankle. So that means partially injured, right? And out with knee was Todd Gurley. Wow. So yeah, when you see that, it just seems to be not COVID related, but other injuries hurting them. The Ravens, gosh, who's a -1 on their COVID list? They got tons of COVID, tons of COVID. Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, whether they got it or just exposed. Mark Andrews, probably not. Hurting all over. Look at the portion of their roster that's healthy versus not healthy, right? As a matter of fact, you want to do a lesson in grouping. Watch this. This is kind of fun. Let's go here, and a lot of times what you can do is you can start to group stuff, and you can say like this. Group it. This becomes the doubtfuls. And then all of our IRs inactive, I'm just going to call it like INIR for all this. Group INIR, whatever. Boom, boom. Are just flat outs. Right? Group. Now this works well because these are semi-alphabetical. It's helpful when we sort them that way. Group this is going to be our questionables. And finally, you've got COVIDs, right? Call this good old SARS-CoV-2, whatever. All right, it's on you. So anyway, doing that and then moving that around back to what we just did, move it to the right. Oh yeah, and then we can, sorry, doing a little stuff that might be going too annoying, but that's okay. Injury status, team. I'm gonna move the injury status in front of the name, and then move this up there. So what that does is makes this a little bit easier and more consistent to sort, because you're going to get this kind of, and you'll have outs in the middle there, like Buffalo Buffalo pretty healthy. They got rid of their COVID, I guess. Carolina, um, heavily out. They got a lot of powerful stuff that's out. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, yeah. But they got some high numbers in health here, right? So keep that in mind. The Bears, some more doubtful, but they don't have any offense to begin with. Cincinnati, yes. Look at all this outs. Good God. 2 of the 3.7 and 2. See why Cincinnati is such a team that's hurting. That's why the Giants are probably a really good pick this week against them. Cleveland. Who's out for Cleveland? Odell Beckham, Angela. Yuck. Dallas. Yeah, what can you say about Dallas? Here's where Denver's destroyed now and has no quarterback, so who knows what's going to happen. So you probably go with the Saints. They were playing them. Detroit lost their coach today, I believe. He got fired. Green Bay. Who's questionable in Green Bay? Achilles. I don't know why I laughed. Just because he fumbled the ball, he just wants to sit out. He's like, I don't want. He's like, nothing good can happen this week. It's so sad when a guy like never fumbles and then fumbles at a terrible spot. It's awful. Houston, Houston a little more injured or out than I would have thought. Indianapolis, right? So Indianapolis is playing Tennessee this weekend. So when you see Tennessee looks healthier and not having COVID, whereas Indianapolis has got some SARS-CoV-2 on here, just one, some questionables, and a lot of people out. So who's out? Who got hurt? Marlon Mack, Paris Campbell. It's an interesting way of looking at what's going through the teams to kind of help you make decisions when you look back at the pick sheet and see what it's telling you. Jacksonville, whoa. Going on with Jacksonville. So you got COVID, you got out, you got questionable, you got a mess in Jacksonville there. Kansas City somewhat keeps it together. Andy Reid and his shield keeping people healthy somehow. Don't want to curse that, but man, same thing with the Raiders, right? Wow. Look for some score. They're not playing each other, but the Raiders are playing. Who are they playing? I can't remember. We'll look in a second. Chargers. Punters at -3, -0.3. I guess okay. I don't know. Rams, some questionable. Who's out for the Rams? Kai Forbath. Yeah, Rams look pretty healthy. Miami, yeah, no wonder. So when you see Miami playing the Jets this weekend, look at the doubtfuls, the outs, the questionables. Like they're a little messy, and their quarterback situation got weird. Yeah, what? Fitzpatrick, where's Tua? Is he not playing? He's doubtful with the thumb. That's why. Yep. So he's probably not going to play. You want to rest him, and they're supposed to beat the Jets. So watch the Jets probably cover. Where is this game? Yeah, the algorithm thinks that the Jets are only going to lose by 3, and you get 7 points with them. The Jets +7 are a good pick against Miami after seeing that. You know, normally I would be like, no, Miami's a much better team, but no, Tua's not going to play. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. It's either Tua, or whatever. All right, let's keep going. Minnesota. I wanted to go against Minnesota. Is there a reason to? There's some COVID for 0.9 on the team with Adam Thielen. And a little bit out, but Minnesota just also has no defense. Patriots, out and questionable heavily. That doesn't look good. Saints, only a little bit out, but Drew Brees is out, right? Where's Drew Brees? Why isn't Drew Brees on here? Oh, because he's on IR. So these two are out. But they still have so much offense just without them that's amazing. Yeah, he's out with ribs for probably the season. You don't break 10 ribs and come back and play in COVID 2020. All right, she's my age too. Drew Brees is my age. That guy's tough as nails, but still. So there is COVID on the Giants with Caden Smith. I think has that been there for more than a week? I don't know. They don't have much, but they're going up a really, really weak Cincinnati team this week. The Jets, as we said, not in that bad shape. They got some IR people, but those people have probably been out for a while, or that's nothing new. There's no COVID going through there. They got a 4.8. They're gonna give Miami a tough game this week, and you can see this coming. Eagles, disaster. Yes, this is why you always bet against the Eagles this season. They got COVID. Who's down there? JJ or your Whiteside. They got no offense. The Eagles are a mess. Steelers have who with COVID? Connor. And the outs are who's out? Jalen Samuels. The rest of the team's somewhat looking healthy. They're only at a 4.5. So, but this game may not even happen on Tuesday. Who knows what's going on with that game? Niners, yeah. See, go against the Niners this week, right? It's the Rams against the Niners. Is that what this game is? Is it like the Rams? Where are they? Where are you, Niners-Rams game? Didn't happen on Thursday. Where is it? Sometimes I just totally... There it is. It favors the Niners. Favors the Niners, but why? I wouldn't think so. Who are they playing? I mean, they're playing the Rams here. Check this out. It's favoring the Rams by 5 points, but it's because you get 6.5. So I would say this is going to be a higher scoring game, and they're going to eventually cover. And that'll flip around. Right? Where did it go? Did our game disappear? No, I already see because I screwed up the thing we're looking at. No, that's not going to work. Sorry. So that's not going to work right now because we've been messing around with this projected pivot each. The whole thing's going to be broken until I go back to that old format. But no, the Niners look like they're in trouble this game. I think you really want to take the Rams. Seattle, outs and questionables. Still at a 5.3. Russell Wilson's still playing. So they're still okay. Tampa Bay's got a little bit of COVID. Jaden Mickens. And who's out with an Achilles? O.J. Howard. They're still pretty healthy, and they still got Brady. Tennessee's got the outs. I looked at them, I think, briefly before, and they're still pretty strong. And then the Washington Football Club somehow dodging COVID and just has the people that were out but are still okay and trying to win the division. They got a shot. It's between them and the Giants, in my opinion. Philadelphia and Dallas are miserable. So it is between the two of them. All right, so let's go over to the picks now. I know, God, we're 17 minutes into this if you stuck with this, but this is a really in-depth look because I'm starting to see that there's an opportunity to make bets. We'll get back to this now. There's an opportunity to make bets after you did the Days of Our Lives of what's going on in the soap opera of each team's injury setup, that there's certain advantages that you see from that on top of what the algorithm is doing. So we can't adjust this until I go back here and readjust all of this. So we have to bring this thing back to what it looked like before, and we have to get the grand total over here by team. So what we can do is simply remove like center's not supposed to really have something. That's fine. Then we only care about this new group that we just set up. I really like this new group that we created, which might have to get adjusted. But what you can do is you can open up a slicer for this new group we created, which has the new injury status. So now that I've adjusted this new injury status thing, we can use it. And what that means is that we only care about people that don't have injuries, are questionable, and I'm not going to bring in the doubtfuls. And in I and IR out and COVID, we don't want to see them in here. So that's going to update everything. Now we can refresh this and it's going to change. Okay, so now if you up the score of that Rams game against the Niners, can you get the Rams? Damn, you can't get them over there. Still a 6-point win. You got to magnify up to like 6.5. So close. It's tough to do to get the Rams to cover which is really what you need to do in this situation. It's tough. But based on, all right, let's talk about the betting now. If you're still with me 20 minutes into this, wow, you enjoy looking at this information then. Let's go through the list based on the stuff we remember from looking at the injury setup. So, no quarterback for Denver. This is hilarious. I don't know what the line has moved to, but if New Orleans is 265, oh my God, you should definitely put that in a parlay. You could probably start to take them with the spread now because this looks like a disaster where Denver's probably going to turn the ball over with people that haven't ever played quarterback on the team going up against a good defense. This should be funny. I don't know what the line's going to be, but that's something to know. Second, Carolina. We loved Carolina against Minnesota. I believe after looking at Minnesota in here, I believe I didn't like what I saw. Right? Did I remove? What did I do? I just have those. That's right. The other injuries on Minnesota, the way you would do that is look at it like this. You go here, and then you'd go here, and you'd open it up. And you'd see that Adam Thielen's out and Irv Smith is out. I know Adam Thielen can be fairly important. We back all that up. And so they're not suffering from COVID. They're not in terrible shape. Carolina, I thought, was in decent shape. Carolina's favored by win strength here, now favored by 11 points, and you get 3.5. It's still the pick of the week. It's still phenomenal. I feel like you should take them to win, but definitely take them plus 3.5 in a round. I mean, I'm tempted to drive an hour and a half to bet on that game. That seems like I don't understand why this algorithm is saying that. So different from Vegas, but I'm going with it. Seattle and Philadelphia. Philadelphia, terrible and unwell. So you can even try to take Seattle minus 5.5. It's worth it because they'll probably win by a touchdown because Philadelphia is that bad. This game's in Philadelphia. I think the weather's okay. So Russell Wilson's probably going to walk all over them. And Seattle wants to win. Philadelphia is slowly getting out of chance in the East. Indianapolis has some health issues. Tennessee didn't, right? Isn't that what we learned? So even though it's got now Indianapolis winning 27-23, that went down from earlier, from yesterday. It was 30-23 yesterday, I think. This is now a 4-point game. I'm tempted to shade more toward Tennessee because what I saw in Indianapolis. So Tennessee plus 3 is the play that I want to make. I want to argue with the algorithm because I think the injuries are telling a different story for Indianapolis. And I think maybe their defense won't be as healthy right now. Okay, Chargers and Bills. I remember them being okay and okay. Actually, the Bills had cleaned up their COVID. It likes the Chargers to win this game now. Wow. Why? It's weird. Why? Well, how bad is Buffalo's defense? It's pretty bad. And their offense is not rated that good. Their strength of schedule is right in the middle. And so this is saying that when you play against Buffalo, that the team's going to score a little more than they normally score against the team against you. That's what that's saying. So the Chargers are putting up 20 to 30 points a game, so they're going to outscore them in a weird game in Buffalo. I don't know what the weather situation is. Weather. I forgot all about weather. I need to add a weather toggle thing on this. I need to have weather situation here somewhere in the middle. It matters. It matters for score points. It matters how to magnify the game. I'll look at how to do that and figure out if I want to harness that information, because going and fetching that data is annoying, but that's what this needs. Either way, it's weird because the Chargers are hungry too, probably for something, and they do weird things on the road. I bet you the Chargers do better here than you think, and that's why the algorithm's picking up on this. Is Buffalo's not that strong of a team, and the Chargers have some explosive offense occasionally. So Herbert, whatever, and I don't know when Tyrod Taylor's coming back. So that's an interesting pick. I kind of get sneaky why the algorithm likes that. So anyway, Patriots and Cardinals. Arizona has Larry Fitzgerald with COVID. The Patriots are iffy and didn't look good either. This didn't change 22-23 and almost even money. I like Arizona. It's screwing us up because it says it's going to be such a close game with the spread, but it still says Arizona wins. I think Arizona wins this game, even in New England, even with whatever issues they're having. I just don't trust the Patriots. And Kyler Murray's playing, right? I think he's playing. Let me check that. Is he playing? Yeah, he's playing and supposed to be healthy. And DeAndre Hopkins is playing. I mean, yeah, I think they're going to be fine. I do think they're going to win that game. So I don't like the algorithms pick here. I like the Arizona. Bears and Packers slightly favors the Packers, but you get 9 points with the Bears. Can't the Bears defense hold up to cover 9 points? The algorithm says absolutely yes. And what's the weather like in Green Bay? Like, don't you bring that down a little bit? It's going to be cold. That would make this almost a tie game, right? Bring it down for weather like one notch. Like each one of these notches brings it down like a touchdown type change in the game. So I mean that brings that to where here it brings it to it's supposed to be a close game. So apparently the Bears +9 is a phenomenal pick. Like you got 8 points to spare. All right, so there's that. That's 9 points is a lot. I know they have no offense, but their defense is okay in the cold, right? Atlanta and the Raiders thinks the Raiders win a high-scoring game, but it's closer than you think, even though there's those doubtful people and questionable people in Atlanta. This game worries me. I feel like an over is a fun bet here, right? Over seems like a good idea. Tampa Bay and the Chiefs. That's not a night game. That's a afternoon game, and it still has the Chiefs by a touchdown. It's super close with the spread. You want to take Chiefs on the money line? I like that. I like Mahomes to beat Brady on a last drive. I like that. I like them on the money line. I don't like the points in this game because I want to only have the winner in that game. This one, why are you favoring the Bengals, algorithm? Because this is 6.5? Screw you. I guess, maybe. Maybe, because the Giants have offense problems, so maybe. But the Giants should win this game. I like the Giants money line in my parlay there. I'll flip this around in a second. We talked about Dolphins and Jets. I love the Jets +7 here. I actually like the Jets to win this game. You heard me. Because it's not Tua. It's Fitzpatrick's Dolphins against a hungry Jets team that probably doesn't want to lose every single game this season. And Miami's got some injury problems and some stuff going on there. So this could easily be the Jets winning this game by a field goal instead. So I like the Jets money line, and I love the Jets +7. Dare I say I love the Jets +7, but I actually do because it makes sense based on who's playing. Niners and Rams. I like the Rams when I was looking through this. The problem is 6.5 points, and you have to bring this thing up to a magnifier of 7 to get this to favor the Rams probably. Yep, and then it does. Has them winning 37-30 if you make this a high-scoring game. Now, where are the Rams? This is in LA because the Rams can't play in San Francisco now or something. There's even more news. The news just doesn't stop. So keep that in mind. I like the Rams there, even though you got trouble because of the spread. The spread's tough, but I like the Rams to win. Go back down here. Jacksonville was hurting, and it's in Jacksonville, and the Browns suck too. But it says the Browns win this game, but that they don't cover 7. I hate everything about this game. I don't want to touch that game. And the Ravens Steelers may or may not happen on Tuesday. And what's the Monday night game? So we can pull that out. So Sunday, you're supposed to take Carolina +3.5. You're not supposed to take the Colts. You could take the Chargers +4.5. You should take Arizona to win or stay away from this game. You should take the Bears +9, but only +9 or more. I'd stay away from Atlanta Raiders unless you want to bet the over. You stay away from. You bet Kansas City to win this game outright, not any points. You bet the Giants, maybe even to the cover of the 6.5, but definitely the Giants to win against the Bengals. You bet on the Jets +7, and you possibly throw a little on the Jets on the money line. You bet the Rams to win. You maybe take them -6.5 if you have to. You do it, and you don't stay. You stay away from that game. All right, guys, that was freaking 30 minutes, but we learned a lot, and I actually might consider betting, given that there's a lot of stuff that's very fun to bet on right now.